This is just a few questions from Chicago, the South Side. And I have Marsha Coleman Johnson on the line from Washington, D.C., from the district. Marsha Coleman Johnson, what is this coronavirus? What is it like in D.C.?
Well, we are not on a stay-at-home order yet, but I can imagine that it's not that far off. As you know, Washington, D.C. is a district, and it is not a state. So we do not have a governor. We have a mayor, and our mayor has put out all of the edicts in regards to COVID-19. And as of today, she has ordered all non-essential businesses to close. So that just happened today. It is not in effect until tonight. So all non-essential businesses will close. That's barbershops, nail places, retail shops, all of those types of things. So the only things that will be open are grocery stores, pharmacies, and those types of things. And even some district-run agencies will be closed as well. The DMV is closing. The district code enforcement will be closed. So we will find out starting tomorrow what things are really going to be like. National news has showed that we have not been really following social distancing and voluntary sheltering in place as other places have, because our cherry blossoms went into full bloom starting on Friday, and people flocked down to the tidal basin to see them. I'm guilty. I was one of those people. But when I was there were a lot of people, but not crowds of people, and we all stayed away from each other as we looked at the beautiful cherry blossoms. But later on in the weekend, it got kind of heavy, and they called out the National Guard and the police to keep people from going down there. They stopped the metro train, stopping at the stations that surrounded, and they blocked off all the streets around the tidal basin, which is the main place where the cherry blossom trees are. And so when I've driven around to go to the grocery store and places like that, I still see traffic. So you can imagine that life has changed, but people are still getting out. I live on a main street in the quote-unquote hood in Washington, D.C., and I still see traffic up and down my main street. I still see people walking up and down the street like it usually is. So I do not see a flattening of the curve here in D.C.
Yes, Marsha Coleman Johnson, what about, you said the mayor shutting down the city. Is the mayor shutting down the White House?
Well, she probably wishes she could shut down the White House.
Now, have you been over there to talk to President Trump? I'm serious. Have you can walk to the White House? Have you been over there?
I have not. I try to stay away from the White House or anywhere near it, because if he leaves, then all traffic stops, and I don't want to be involved in that kind of traffic. But back in the days in 2016, I used to be excited to see the motorcade, and now I can't stand to see it. But
shame on you. Shame. President Trump is doing they say the American people say he's doing a fine job. His approval ratings are high, like 54%. 54%.
So when he does a press conference before the stock market closes, you can look at the ticker and see the Dow decrease the whole time he's talking. So next time that happens, you just check that out.
Oh, okay.
But
all jokes aside, I got to ask you, when we're talking about President Trump and this coronavirus, how do we get back to normal? How does President Trump or the mayor of D.C. or the mayor of Maryland, the governor of Maryland or the governor of Virginia, how do we get back to quote unquote normal?
So
when are we going to get back to normal?
The only way that we can go back to normal is not the way that the president has insisted, that at the end of the 15-day quarantine period, which ends basically at the beginning of next week, the 30th, 31st, 1st, right in that area, and have everybody go back to work. That is horrible, and that will cause more deaths and sicknesses and deaths. At this point, even if people stay out for a while, 70 to 80% of all of America will have the virus at some point. Then that doesn't mean everybody will be sick and fall out and die. because that's just not how it works. But everybody will have it. I'm pretty sure a lot of people had it back in December and January. I even believe I may have had it. And I have a compromised immune system, but I think I just pushed through it anyway. Um, but Mayor Cuomo hit on it about how we will be able to ease back into our normal society. And that is when they come up with the test to be able to, a serological test, which is when you're able to test everyone's blood to see if they have developed antibodies. And if people have developed antibodies, they can be eased back into society. And they are the ones that are going to be able to right the crookedness that the American economy has entered into at this time, and get businesses back on track again, because then they will be able to withstand the virus. And when that happens, then we'll get back on track again. And when those people, and we don't have to worry about them infecting anyone because they'll have the antibodies.
Well,
So
I
that's the
can't wait for
key.
that. It all sounds good, academic, but I can't wait. I need to go back now because my bill collectors say they want their money the first of the month, and that's like whatever next week. I
Well, they're
can't.
working on that test, and it's supposed to be available. Now, will it be distributed to urgent care centers where you don't have to have an act of God and a note from God to be able to get tested? I don't know. They haven't said how that'll be distributed once it comes online, but it will have to be in widely available, or we won't be able to get back to normal.
I don't like that.
But
Okay.
that'll have to be part of the process, where you can go into a care now or whatever the urgent care facility is in your area, get tested, have ability to show that you have the antibodies, and then you can go back to work.
It's been a pleasure having you on the program, Marsha Coleman Johnson. Will you please go over and tell Barack and Michelle I said hi?
I sure will.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.